And the clouds gather again. How futile. Your tears will not wash away the roots. The feast draws near, little wolves.
Hold up. Haven't seen you up here before. What's your business?
Which men sacked the watchtower to the west? I came to inform Merosa.
Witchman? Bloody Mara. Never thought they would get this close. Okay, you can go through to Merosa. Tell her everything. For the sake of the Reach. Keep safe.
Make yourself busy. Spit it out.
Heard the news from Snyder. They say that Ulkarin was captured and killed.
He wasn't killed. A dragon came to rescue him.
A dragon? You're mad, brother! Besides, the dragons hated us back then. They would hate us now. Time doesn't mend grudges.
Aye, you can say that again. Hate makes you miss the good things in life, like good meat.
Fresh news for the hardy folk of the Divide. Horrific doom befalls the hamlet of Sabbath, torn to shreds by vile magic. It has been overtaken by death, or should I say, undeath. Hear ye, hear ye. The Witchman raid leaves Evermore's eastern border exposed like a fair maiden's hip. The Imperial Watchtower's garrison butchered entirely. More and more ships trouble the waters of Illic Bay every day as corsairs from Hammerfell continue to ravage our coasts. The orcs still lurk in the countryside, and they are out for blood. Remain within the city walls, or at least don't travel alone. The latest flood devastated the settlement of Forlorn. Bad news for travelers. The village's inn is now serving nobody but fish. The affliction threatens to engulf the Reach as more and more fatalities are reported, even witnessed at times. Pray to the Eight for good health. Have a care when traveling the Reach. Dissenters exiled from the realm's military and numerous deserters from the Imperial Legion haunt the road, as well as horse.
Hey, new face, do me a favor, will you? Please, I'll make it worth the trouble. Sorry, my lord. I meant no offense. Don't think nothing of it. Sometimes I yearn for those simpler times, where a cold winter was the worst.
Nostalgia, sir. Nothing else. Dull and stagnant at 20.
wanted to speak of Mortarvane. I've heard the news from the council that his seat in Anima may be put into question.
You heard correct, because he and his guards are demanding more gold from the merchants, while also becoming more aggressive. No better than thugs. And that little lord does nothing but encourage it. I despise that unsightly man. Every conversation with him is extremely unpleasant. His paranoia also makes it so we can't have any of our own in that town to keep an eye on him.
I have a missionary within the temple down there. He shares whispers with me on occasion. If you need consoling on this, you only need to ask. If I may beg my pardon, I shall return to servicing this temple.
Very well. Make a prayer that nothing terrible arises from this disorder. It's good to have the gods listening in times like this. Cease with your pestering.
Merosa?
Have we arranged a meeting, or is it your intent to address nobility lacking proper decorum? Speak quickly, lest you rile my temper.
I am Meryem warrior princess. Your lookout tower was sacked by which men?
Oh, a harbinger of grim news. Not the best first impression. Well, thank you for telling me in advance of my own guards. It was only a matter of time before they spilled further east.
I am just the messenger.
Pardon the introduction, yet understand the need for it. We can't have any wandering yokel approach royalty like they're of the same stock. It's not good for the kingdom's image. We'll have the guard there as soon as possible. But for you, are you interested in some coin? We need someone to talk to us.
Gold for talking? Sure thing.
Nothing more pleasing to a mercenary than gold. From your mannerisms, I'll make the sound assertion that you're not versed with High Rock itself, and probably lack knowledge of this realm. However, you will come to know the kingdom's people in short time, as our stone walls all but separate the encroach of savage from civilized.
Investigate Arnima through speaking with Jackos. What do you need done?
Yes, well, onto the matter. To the east of this bridge lies the town of Arnima, formerly Raven Spring, lest you run into a resident whose mind is stuck in bygone years. Can get confusing, much like everything else in this land. Within Arnima, you will find Jakos, who trains the scout detachment there. He's the only man that I somewhat trust, who's not completely beholden to his lord. Ask him about rumors. Tell him that I sent you. He should understand your intent. We've conducted affairs before. A simple nod from him will be more than enough information for you to infer. You don't need to know any further than that.
I understand you have my silence.
Now, off you go. Earn a small fortune for yourself. I heard Evermore has many an opportunity to entertain your proclivities. On the stipulation of coin, mind you. Such coin that will be available on your return.
Anything in particular that I should expect when traveling the roads?
I assume you're new to the Reach and haven't become acquainted with anything further than this bridge. So a brief lesson in geography is in order. Just beyond the southern gate of the settlement lays Sabbath, a town recently ravaged by a mage that was still sniffing out. However, our search was impeded from the risen dead that malcontent left in their wake.
And if we kill this mage, will the march of this dead horde cease?
It's a possibility, yet I'm not staking any more men on a hope. We're but a fledgling town when it comes to arms. Our guard exists for immediate defense, not to be used in any failed excursion.
These witchmen that attacked your eastern tower? Who are they?
I'm no expert nor historian, but what I can tell you should be the same that every Reachman would recite when speaking of those savages. Accounts state that this new incarnation of the Witchman appeared near 2 decades back, just after the incident at Munster.
Munster?
You haven't heard of it either. I feel like I'll be going over the history of every blade of grass in the Reach. I digress. Munster was an abandoned fort far to the north that has since succumbed to its frozen locale. Peasants, serfs, and other seditious souls had made a great exodus under the cover of night, all leaving their fields, abandoning the lords they were sworn to serve. Of course, when all your labor, thus wealth, absconds in but a moment, there will be tremors. So the lords had sent men to trail these wayward workers all the way to Munster. What they saw was an ostensibly bizarre affair, both witchmen and peasants forming a decadent commune, many turning to layabouts who engaged in petty pleasures and shirking the labor that had made them.
Witchmen witch the peasants? Those witchmen Dante seem like the type you want to live with.
I feel. No need to thank me.
I see you're not one for absorbing the finer details of a conversation. This was before they had all turned feral. Not to say they weren't savage before, but that former identity was ultimately harmless, unlike those you see now. The lords eschewed violence at first, instead opting to subvert the commune, freeing their scum and exiles northward, with the condition that they go live in Munster. The hope was that the delusional dreamers of that town would abandon their fickle want for equality once extreme personalities had entered their midst.
And did they?
To our utter astonishment, they didn't. These scum that would haunt our societies were either subsumed into the mix or blocked from entry, leading many to evaluate the true intent of these radicals. We thought they were just pacifists who'd allow any and all into their ranks, which would spell doom for any gathering. Panic-stricken, many lords conspired, finally pushing for the siege that would be that commune's undoing. Cutting off food, digging extensive tunnels to both poison their wells and revealing more avenues for attack. Lastly, clear diplomacy, to impart some reason into those serfs, enough for them to return to civilization and abandon these naive ideals.
So how does this tale conclude?
The lords saw the beneficiaries within Munster, a gathering of hag ravens who were prolonging the siege to impossible lengths. Then crumbs of discontent were found among the militia. Fear gripped the nobility that these ideas could spread to every serf. Nobility, not just from Evermore, but from all over High Rock, sent aid when they heard how severe the crisis was. All of High Rock seemingly united to crush this small town. Yet only a Luddite would think so simply. This was to crush an idea, a canker that'd undo the very world we haven. So the Lord's strength was honed into one blow, throwing all their might at those walls. They fell, and what mercy we would have spared upon those misguided serfs was instead replaced with conviction to stamp out a chaotic ideology.
You killed all the serfs?
No. They, however, did. To the last man, woman, and child. A Pyrrhic victory in the truest sense. Evermore had lost half its serf class, yet the lords were elated that the existential crisis of revolution was averted. Exceptionally harsh measures were put in place for anyone that even uttered the commune's name, or who dared to evoke the same rebellious sentiments. And so that concludes the tale of Monstor.
A tragic story it is, however. How did this make the new witchmen?
Almost lost myself in another tale. Maybe because that question isn't as easily answered. Bear with me, as what follows can drift into conjecture. Rumors from the nobility in that siege reported seeing figures watching the slaughter unfold in the town, neither part of the kingdom's militia or the defendants. Scouts were dispatched to see who the strange party was, and upon their return they displayed strange idols, with the scouts claiming them as gifts from those shady silhouettes, though their names or identities were never disclosed. Most of the nobility had discarded these charms immediately, except for that wretched Mortifane, who was enamored by that hideous amulet that still wrings his filthy neck.
What do you think they want?
If I could tell you, then we'd already be halfway to a solution by now, but that's where my knowledge ends. I hope you enjoyed the tale. It's always a guilty pleasure to recite when the lowborn are acting up.
Stranger, fancy an extra blade to accompany you through the menagerie that is the Reach?
Selling yourself in a temple of Mara? That's low even for we who work for blood money.
Who said I'm not working for our mum as well? If it makes you feel any better, I spare a little prayer for every unfortunate bastard that happens to meet my axe. Besides, haven't you done just the same thing? Maybe poor of vision, but I ain't deaf.
It is different. I am helping the people here by assisting Merosa.
Always a spin, huh? Look, I ain't gonna knock you for earning a little extra coin. Not many other options to do so around the Reach. Though if you're ever feeling down and you need a rough pauldron to cry on, then I'm your man. Though I've got a little problem with my legs. You see, they can't move unless I rub them with some coin. Say, 500 septums to be exact. So, will you help a poor old codger to walk again?
Consider yourself hired.
Gold makes me a happy man. Now let's go bash some skulls before I bore my ass off.
All right then. Should pray before heading back out. You'll need the luck.
Get on with it.
Hey! Wait! Hold up! fellow Swift.
Look who's
Down.
Well, that was easier than expected.
Yeah! Hey!
I could see the smoke from atop that old bridge. The smell it carried greeted most who were watching the tragedy. I'm not too keen on meeting the mage who holds this type of power.
I see you, scum.
I'll bleed you dry! Get out of here. Time to meet your end.
Red Guard thieves, bloodthirsty orcs, now you're dead.
here.
Are you unwell? I hope it isn't that butt disease that's going around.
There you are. This ends here.
Die!
Get ready. Trouble ahead.
I'd like to grab a pickaxe myself and see what fancy bubbles a dig like this has in store.
Say your prayers. Yeah, I hear it too. Say your prayers. There you are. Time to kiss my blade. Final straw. Going places, wrecking faces.
could grab a pickaxe myself and see what fancy bubbles a dig like this has in store. I could grab a pickaxe myself and see what fancy bubbles a dig like this has in store. Easier than expected. I could grab a pickaxe myself and see what fancy bubbles a dig like this has in store.
Hey!
This hamlet was brimming with life since I last saw it. The reeks of death.
be on our guard.
All right.
Cheeky.
Are you unwell? I hope it isn't that butt disease that's going around.
Come on, Hattie. Almost there. Have all the hay you want.
Meryem, Meryem, du är krigarprinsessan. Du kämpar för ditt folk och din ära. Du är icke rädd för fiender.